Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be doing a idea that I think has been around maybe before, maybe not. I feel like I might have done this before. However, the concept is we're making one Minecraft event, so we're picking like the best game roster across the 3 Minecraft events that are the most talked about, which are MCC, Block Wars, and Pandoras Box. And we're going to pick games from every event, try to at least incorporate one from every event. I think that should be possible. Actually, I know for sure that that's possible because I already know which ones I'm picking a little bit. I haven't done this yet, but we're making one event, picking like 8 games because it's just like whichever 8 we think are the most optimal, and then finale game, and that's it. So that's the concept. One event, best games or best game roster from across the 3 events, while trying to include at least one game from every event. All right. Also, literally just recorded a Hermitcraft MCC. Either that video is the previous one or the one coming tomorrow. I don't know. It's one of the two. I haven't decided which ones I'm uploading first, but I'm just trying to record a bunch of stuff and then get them out. Here's the tier list. So there's MCC. These are all the active games from MCC, active games from Block Wars in here, active games from PB in here. You can definitely tell what the difference in quality is between these events, I guess. Obviously MCC, or at least I think the difference more so is that MCC I think has probably a dedicated pixel artist, or maybe 2, that are responsible for these icons. They look fantastic, by the way. Like absolutely insane. I think as far as I recall, the MCC new icons were only added in Season 3. I could be wrong, but I feel like these were only added in Season 3. Or maybe they were added in late Season 2. Heavily overlooked that these were all added newly to the event otherwise. I feel like people don't pay attention to that at all. That, like, these icons... Just look at the icons before. I mean, I don't have them down here, but... They look wild. They look insane. Anyways, yeah, obviously the MCC icons are super well made, and then the Block Wars icons are solid, and then the PB icons, I think the reason they're blurry is just because I had to download them from a wiki where there's only a small version of the icons or something like that. So I don't really know how that works. And then apparently the Coliseum doesn't even have an icon unless it does, but I couldn't find it. So yeah, like Block Wars PP icons are, I mean, relatively similar if you unblur them. And then MCC is just so like a freaking step or 50,000 above. Anyways, so the way we want to try to do this, right, to make this ultimate game rosters, we're not going to do a game order. We're just going to make, we're going to try to make a roster of 8 games that provides a variety of games for any, or like just like yeah, any type of player, I guess, where like it's not just like half PvP, half movement, but it's also not just every team game ever plus whatever, right? Trying to make a balance. So ideally you would do 3 PvP, 3 movement, 3 team. We'll just see whichever games will end up being the top contenders between the events. Anyways, so also, there's only going to be like one racing game, which is Ace Race. I think Ace Race is going to be a lock because there has to be a racing game in the event pretty much, and Ace Race is just the best one by a lot. Like, that's just an easy pick. I don't really see a way that Ace Race isn't the number one in just, if you just pick, like, because it's situational, right? Race and speedrun are, I think, brought down a little bit personally because of the skill of the roster. I think Ace Race also has a bit more variety where there's more room for error, so there's also more room to catch up. But also, the rosters are pretty different still between the 3 events, especially PB. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, Ace Race is a lock because you want a racing game in this event, but you don't want more than one, but I feel like you have to have one. I feel like if you don't include a racing game, people are going to be like, what? You didn't put a racing game in there? Huh? What do you mean? I also want to make a decision here. Actually, I kind of... I feel like it's pretty obvious that certain event games are going to have to be in, right? Anyways, I think if we're looking at PB... So PB has 8 games that are active right now. Speedrun wouldn't make it in. SG I think wouldn't make it in. Sky High probably not. Hyperdrive maybe. Gauntlet probably not. Disco no. Challenge probably not. Temple on the other hand, obviously I've said this before on the channel, maybe just on stream, or maybe whatever. Temple is not my favorite type of game, but I can acknowledge that it is one of the best ones in PB, and by a lot of people who agree, the best game PB has to offer, and also is potentially the game that pulls people in. And for that reason, I think it has to at least make it into the event roster. I think it probably will be the only PB game that I will personally put in, because my take on PB is that I think the games overall are pretty consistent, but I don't think many of them stand out to me personally. However, everyone's opinion is different. Alright, moving on. So you've got Ace Race and you got Temple Lockout. I think that's already a very solid roster of games. I think what it comes to down to next, is that we look at blockers and just look at the ones that make it here. And I think that's also a relatively easy choice. I think Extraction makes it. I did, or at least in a private Discord relatively recently, with a bunch of like a Minecraft event, just people who talk about it, and friends and whatnot. It became pretty obvious that they at least had Extraction very high up, and I can agree with that. I think Extraction provides or puts round robin PvP in a format that is much more welcoming to different types of people, but still suits like still the round robin aspect of it still provides much to the game. Because I think you could kind of compare it to Meltdown, where like, is it a PvP game? Kinda, because yeah, I mean, there's PvP through bows or crossbows or whatnot. However, PvP is more typically looked at as combat, like with swords or with axes or whatnot. But comparing Extraction to Meltdown, obviously very different ways of how the game plays out. However, I think obviously it is a, in quotations, PvP game because of it only being ranged combat with a different objective that makes the game work differently from the other. I think Extraction would be the pick for blockers here, and I think Blitz Hunt probably makes it too. This one's a little confusing. I don't think Blitz Hunt has an icon, so people often mistake this one for being Hunt, or at least for the people that did this tier list. They mistook this for a Hunt. I'm using it for Blitz Hunt because that's the current game. Blitz Hunt, to me, is the best blockers game right now. Obviously, there might be some recency bias, but I think it's actually a really good game mode. I actually really enjoy it. And it's one of the games that pulls me into play, or want to play blockers, because it just excites me when it gets played, you know? Like, I'm like, oh yes, I'm really pumped to play. I think blockers is very similar to PB, except I'm slightly biased, and also I approach the event differently. Thus, I put it higher than PB. I'll also probably end up making my, like, quote-unquote hot takes event video, whatever. I recorded it before. I don't remember what I said, so I will not upload it. But I might just re-record it in a little bit. Anyways, I don't know. Oh yeah, so what I want to say is I think blockers also is it's, for me personally, it has the middle ground is a little higher than the middle ground for PB for me. It has one game, Sky Zone, that I just don't enjoy, and then a couple games that I really like. So that's why I would put it personally above PB. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. So I think that's probably what's going to end up being the only, well, maybe the only 3 non-MCC picks, because not to just, we're not going to ignore the fact that Rocket Sweep Rush should be in there, Sense of Time should be in there, and arguably Bingo. I think Bingo provides a very nice, different style of gameplay, which I think is very well suited. I think if you had to pick another team game, it's either Bingo, Grid, or Order Up. I think PB doesn't even have team games, so that's just unfortunately not one or an event we can consider here. And then it comes down to another PvP game, and I don't really know which one I would want. Sky Battle nowadays is not my type of game. I don't really know how I feel about it. But I do have to agree here. When you look at, I guess Temple Locka is a PvP game. It's also a little bit of a hybrid, but it's more PvP than Meltdown. So I guess that is a PvP game. PvP, meh, PvP. Ace Race is movement. Rock Sweep is like miscellaneous movement. Blitz Hunt is miscellaneous movement. Kind of. SOT's a dungeon team game. Bingo's a team game. So I guess the final slot could be kind of whatever. Yeah, let's put this in order. So you got movement, PvP, PvP, And then, yeah, actually, this is already in order. Okay, cool. I don't really know what the last game would be. This is a hard choice. There's a lot of MCC games that I really enjoy. But I feel like if I, like, for example, I really like Hole in the Wall, but I feel like if I put Hole in the Wall in there, there's 3, like, miscellaneous movement-esque game modes, which would be a little too much. I feel like that would be not to my liking, at least. So I guess the last game, it's probably best if it's a PvP game. I personally am not the biggest fan of PvP in events anymore, because it's just the same thing every single time, and it always leads to complaints, so I feel like it's just never... it's just not my favorite. I'm leaning. So my choice here is if I were to, I'm not going to pick Battle Box either because we already have technically 2 round robin games. Extraction is just a round robin game, and Blitz Hunt's kind of round robin because it's instead of team versus team, it's one team, but every different round it's a different team. It's kind of odd. I know that's not how round robin works, I think, but you get my point. It's a game that has a lot of rounds within the game, so I wouldn't pick that either. You could argue like Party could maybe be in there because Party's pretty fun to play, but I think Party right now needs a little bit of updating to become better. Again, I think it's been the same for a little bit too long. Order Up could be an argument you could make. However, I think if you put Order Up in, it would be the event would feel a little bit too team-based potentially. I think Grid Runners could be cool, but I think Bingo already fits that slot a little bit better. So it's kind of hard. I can at least rule out a couple things. Sky's on. I don't think PB could maybe have a game in there still. Definitely not Chalice. I don't think Disco would make sense. Gauntlet 2, I would pick Party over Gauntlet 2, so if I don't pick Party, I wouldn't pick Gauntlet 2. Hyperdrive's a maybe. I think it just, for me personally, is not a game I enjoy super much because of the roster being way too good at it. Sky High, I'm not really a fan of too much either. Speedrun, we already have Ace Race, and then SG, I would prefer MCC's SG over PB's SG, so that would make it either. So unfortunately, I don't think, for me personally, I should clarify every single time, that PB would get another game in. Construction, Constructions has value that it provides. I don't think it would make sense to put it in here over MCC games. And then like Move, probably not. I mean, it's fine. Battle, meh. Battle, I think some people would argue should be higher because I know a lot of people do really like Battle. I personally don't know how I feel about Battle. I shouldn't elaborate on that. And then Order Up, maybe. And then, yeah, the Spleef would be such a troll pick. I really like Spleef, but Rocket Spleef Rush is already there. It's pretty much, it's just a Spleef game. Battle Box, probably not. Build Mart, meh, probably not. Grid Runners, maybe. Hole in the Wall, maybe. Meltdown, no, because we already have Extraction and already have Temple. Parkour Attack, probably not, because of Round Robin. Parkour Warrior, not my favorite type of game. Sky Battle, meh. Ticket Side, definitely not. It's probably my least favorite game in MCC. And then SG, maybe. I think if you, okay, well, the thing is, that's a hard choice to make. I think the issue is, I have to think about different perspectives, right? Because if someone saw that there was going to be an event that has 8 games from MCC, or just like a combination of events, becomes one game roster, people are going to make the argument that SG should be in there because it's a classic, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know if I agree, but whatever. Okay. If Sky Battle was on Candyland or on one of the older modes, I would put it in there. Also, before anyone's wondering, Dodgebolt's going to be the finale game. It's just the best one out of the 3 options. And then I don't know which one I would pick at the end. There's already an Elytra game, so yeah, this would make it. Battle. Would it be Battle? Would I pick Battle? I feel like I'd be a little bit too Block Wars pilled if I pick Battle. But I don't. If I pick, it has to be a freaking PvP game, I think. Damn. SG wouldn't really make sense. Well, I know this is me just dragging on the video, but it's not on purpose. I promise I'm actually really trying to think about this. Grid Runners, I guess, would make sense, but then if you have Grid, Sands, and Bingo, then MCC just has a monopoly on the team games. I feel like that would be a little... I mean, it already does right now. Frick, am I going to pick Order Up? No, probably not. What am I picking here? This is genuinely so hard. Like, what am I picking here? I thought this was going to be so easy, but my brain also didn't math correctly because I was like, I know one PB game I want, and I know 4 of the MCC games, and I know 2 of the Block Wars games, but that leaves 1 slot, and I didn't think about that. I didn't freaking brain hard enough for this. Also, this song is so long. Moving on. Am I going to be... I'm going to put Sky Battle, but only the old Sky Battle. I think current Sky Battle I wouldn't put in. Because I don't really like... At least I didn't like the most recent one, and I haven't really been a huge fan of the newer maps, personally. So I guess that would make sense. But then again, I should say what I should think of the current games, because Bingo and like Blitz Hunter and stuff are there, and that's like the current version of those games. So I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Damn. What would I genuinely don't know. Frick. I don't know how long I've even spent on this part of the video. How long has it just been me thinking of the last pick? Because I knew these already. It's just me trying to think of which game I actually like the most out of the ones remaining, and it can't be certain games. Otherwise, I would probably pick certain games. But it can't be some of them, because Meltdown would be too much, right? Meltdown is a cool game, but it would be too much. Parkour Warrior is not for me. I guess if Parkour Warrior was like a game that I enjoyed a lot more, then it would probably make it, but I just don't, unfortunately. Battle Box wouldn't make sense because you already have a round robin PvP game. It would just be too much. Constructions is kinda alright. It's like not a bad game mode. It's just it would not make sense to put in. Battle, I think, would be a very pretty solid pick here. Even though personally, I feel like it would be for me personally. If I think of like the 8 best games across these 3 events, Battle wouldn't come to mind. But then again, my brain only could think of 7 that I was like confident about, and then the 8th is hard. Like the 8th is definitely not easy. Damn. I'll pick Battle. Now this, and then I guess it should be in the PvP category. There you go. Now, obviously, it looks very Block Wars biased, and I do agree. However, if we were trying to make a variety of game modes, or a selection of games that has a variety of games to offer for different players, different playstyles, etc., this probably makes sense. Otherwise, like I said, I would put Sky Battle if it were the old version, but since we're using current versions, well, if we're using current versions, I don't know if Battle would make sense. I think the final game has to be MCC, and which current version of these MCC games do I like the most? SG hasn't been played in so long. Do I like SG? Yeah, SG is pretty cool. And like, I like Order Up. Current Party is fine. Damn. Frick it. I guess we're picking SG. Probably not a very common W take, but that's just what me personally right now. I guess I would pick SG, and MCC SG is probably the one that I think would be the best. Maybe. That's just what my brain is braining right now. Right. Thank you all for watching. If you're still here, great. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.